Ready?
Yes.
Hello, I call this meeting to order. Welcome, everybody. This is the committee of the whole meeting, and we have one item in the agenda, which is Renton River Days and Summer Events Preview. Hello, our dear MG and Jennifer. We're ready for all these exciting things that are going to happen in the summer. So you can start.
Thank you. Good evening, Council. Thank you, Council. President Pro Tem Perez, we are very happy to be here. So Mary Jane Van Cleve, Parks and Recreation Administrator, and beside me is Miss Jennifer Spencer, Recreation and Human Services Director. So we're going to get into what is our seasonal programming. We do normal operations. We maintain 33 parks. We are opened 7,300 hours on average between all our centers and buildings. We serve on average over 3,000 weekly. Sorry, the 7,300 is weekly. This is on top of our normal operations. This is our summer seasonal where we need to expand by an additional 250 part-time employees in order to deliver the following that we will be covering. So first, I just wanted to share a short video, and this is a small highlight, but this was River Days last year, just to refresh our memory. Music, screaming, the sounds of bands, pickleball. Very short video. We'll get into everything we're highlighting right here. So as this is playing, what's beside you on this slide is some analytics for both 23 and 24. It is transposed. We do apologize about that, but we wanted to give you some numbers by comparison. We do use the Placer AI third-party software to understand foot traffic. So in 2023, drone show that was downtown. We had 37 on average in terms of visitors. And then it was all the way up to 4,100 when we had it at Jean Coulon Park, where we had thank you, Council Member Prince. You got to introduce the band, and that was an amazing event. It was a packed park that evening. Then Liberty Park, you're going to see the numbers drop slightly from the little over 10,000 to 9,800. A lot of that has to do with the change in the layout into 2024, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. Parade did go down a dip, and a lot of that could have been for various reasons, just when we got the application out, the promotion. So that's certainly an area that we can improve upon and continue to work with council and other members on really bolstering and getting the same presence that we've had in the past. Community center, this is a huge uptick here. This is that indoor market. People really did enjoy that option because it was right adjacent the Cedar River Park, which is where we had the free kid zone. We heard loud and clear. It was a directive from the mayor and very much supported by council. So thank you to offer a free play zone. We received so much feedback on how many people really just appreciated the reprieve if they had one, but just especially those with multiples or relatives, and just having a place to take kids where they could be active and not have to pay for every little experience was significant. And so I'll give it Jen if you have any other details.
The moving the footprint of the activity zone really helped out. Being next to the community center, it gave a lot of incentive for the people to come indoors and shop. As nice as it is to have your everything outside, it actually is very helpful to us to have it climate controlled. That's the feedback that we're hearing from the people that are vending or selling in the bazaar. We did a really good job with the signage. We heard that loud and clear in 2023. We sort of missed the mark when it came to that, and we provided about 86 additional signs around the park and outside of the park, starting actually at the parade, leading people towards the community center in Liberty Park. So we felt that was successful, but I think that we can step that up a little bit too, and more signs. Hopefully, the more people. But again, to what MJ said, we appreciate the agreeance to have the activity zone free to all families.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilmember Ojala.
did we put something up on the breeder board also on Maple Valley Highway for several days beforehand, right?
We do.
Yeah.
So part of the marketing that goes out for that is the press release through our communications division, a lot of social media content, the full spread in the Renton Reporter. So trying every avenue we can to really get it out. And then it's also emailed to our database within our recreation software, which is around 100,000 individuals.
Oh, maybe I wasn't clear. I'm talking about the electronic digital reader board on Maple Valley Highway.
Yes, ma'am.
Didn't we do that like a week ahead to remind people that the community center was part of it now? I'm trying to remember.
It actually plays a lot longer. It plays for almost the entire month of July.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Madam President,
Councilmember Prince.
thank you so much. I thank you guys. I love having these comparison numbers. Do we have any idea what the comparison is for the ever popular senior picnic?
Oh, well, it's because that's a ticketed or registration program. So I want to say that there was 405 total registered for 2024. 2023, it was still held at the Senior Activity Center. And so it was less than half of that, about 184.
Awesome. Thank you.
And we'll be back there again this year at the community center. So already people registering.
My favorite event of the week.
It is a fantastic event. So again, just jogging council's memory is this is now being moved towards more and more a fully city hosted event. It was a transition from River Days being the separate nonprofit, an immense amount of volunteers and a lot of work went into that, decades long running in that format. This is now still in a transition to being fully absorbed by city and city staff. So it is a big lift for the city, but it's the best way we can really execute it. And we still work with anyone who's had longstanding relationships with the previous nonprofit.
Thank you so much for such a great presentation. And yeah, I am so glad to hear that movement to the community center really increased the attendance for the senior luncheon, because I know that's a really popular one. So that's fantastic. My question's more towards the parade though, because we all noticed, I think last year, the dip in terms of like the numbers, and we all had different ideas. Have you kind of gathered, because I guess I didn't hear you particularly on why we saw that dip and what you're going to do differently. And I want to hear a little bit more on that in terms of the parade.
I think that some of it might be the timing of when applications are released, when our marketing collateral is developed, and really just us pushing pushing on the avenues that we have to really get people involved. Some of the, I guess the fine logistics would be not everybody goes through the process, right? There's, let's see, how do I say it? There's some red tape that you have to go through. For example, if you wanted to be in the parade, you have to provide a certificate of insurance. There's certain policies that the city has that we have to make sure that we're meeting, and not everybody is able to meet that criteria, right? The type of vehicle, the type of organization. So there's some barriers there. And I think that we've worked past them really well with our legal team. And I feel like this year it's really going to be noticed.
It is that transition, council, from it being ran by a nonprofit that had different fluidity and less restrictions, pulling it in-house. The benefit is we do have the infrastructure, the stability, and the resources, but you do have to go through the bureaucracy, and it's not always easy to navigate. But we're working interdepartmentally to figure out how to streamline those processes to make it more accessible. To Jen's point, we need to push harder on the marketing so it stands out louder. There's so much going on in the city that sometimes we're competing against ourselves inadvertently, and so we need to figure out how to get that channel a bit more distinct, especially when we're soliciting, and this is an opportunity to really allow the community to visually represent itself.
So let me ask one question, and then I go to you. I understand that this is part of the transition, and obviously we're aiming to improve absolutely everything before pre-pandemic, obviously, because it took us a while to get back, not to where we were, but at least to something that we can start saying we're back, fully back to Renton River Days. But with the part that we came back after the pandemic to do this was a lot of transition in staff and in format and in everything, and I think has taken a time, like every other change, right? I did see the difference between the previous year to this year, especially in specific events, and obviously others that need, like you mentioned, for example, the parade. It was the same day as the Seafair parade, and I think that had a huge impact last year. But as much as we are getting used to the new changes, and I understand that it's going to take a while because the new staff, sometimes it's confusion. So I'm just going to give you an example, and in the past I'm going to pass you a message that I should have passed you like 15 days ago or more. For example, I was in Renton Rotary a month ago, and Marcia Peter, who is the chair that runs the Renton River Days, specifically the Robert Docky race, he was asking me about the annual email that normally he receives in January to inform him about the days and all the requirements that are going to be part of the process, because for Renton Rotary and for the Robert Docky, normally they have two different participation, one on the parade as Renton Rotary and the other one to coordinate all the things related to the Robert Docky, because it's not just the booths, but it's also what the help that the city provides in partnership of the race by itself. The race by itself is a lot of work that kudos to the Rotarians, they do it by themselves. The city provides logistic support, but most of the heavy work goes for the Rotarians. So the only thing that I will appreciate is that they were missing that email that normally was in January. And I did explain and say it's a change. You old timers probably have been feeling this, but it's part of the learning curve. So I'd say just be patient. I know that eventually they will get there. It's so important, the Robert Donkey race, that I say that even the city just always use it as part of the the local event or the videos and all of that. And I know that it's something that the city partners with Rotarians, very happy to do that. So I'm just passing this as a message, and then Councilmember O'Halloran.
Thank you. And just one point of feedback from my experience at last year's parade. I was assigned a car that was not a pickup truck and did not have a sunroof. And it was it felt unsafe because I was in the back with the lift gate up and sort of like, here's my car coming by, but where's the council member? So it, and I could have just hung out one of the side windows or something like that, but I really wanted to be able to see both sides of the street. So just a point of feedback is please ensure that there's a safe way for us to be transported in that parade. Either it's a sunroof or a pickup truck or something where we're not literally hanging out over the back of the car. So thank you.
Okay. Let's keep going because I know that it's a lot in the
No,
presentation.
there's so many details, and we're more than happy to fine tune and refine. Rotary is a long-standing partner. It's quintessential. It's an experience that is known and expected. The safety of our council members is important. We do not want you to feel unsafe. We want you to be in a vehicle. And it's really, this community event is a chance for residents to get close to the city and staff, council members, as well as departments. So we want to do it right. And this is why we're having this conversation now, is to look back. Please give us feedback. That's how we get better. It doesn't bother us. We're not offended or hurt by it. We'd rather hear it now, truthfully, so we can incorporate these into next year, which is this year, actually. So we'll touch on this year's event as well. So again, touching on that, Councilmember Prince, thank you for saying that. The Senior Day Picnic will, without a doubt, be a sold-out event per usual. Bring your dancing shoes, as always. The seniors like to exceed the time limit, but we don't mind and we enjoy it. The drone show, again, will be at Coulon this year. The community can look forward to that. Coulon is a tough location. People want to typically host events there. We don't allow non-city events. With the picnic shelters that we allow that are reserved as early as January of this calendar year, what that does is that takes up, there's 2 on the south end and 1 on the north end, pretty much most of all our parking. And so what we want to do is make it safe and that there's still access and passive use. So we do limit, and even our own city hosted events there. Jen will talk a little bit about the pickleball tournament. It was insanely popular. It continues to be very successful. So to satiate the pickleball community, we did this tournament. It was sold out. Jen can talk about how we're expanding that.
You've heard of pickleball, right? A little bit. Yeah. So this year we're offering 3 different skill levels. So you don't have to be an expert. So that's very exciting. There's no intimidation for anybody not wanting to sign up. We actually are doing a women's tournament as well. And if space allows and time allows, we will also open it up to the senior population. So one thing that we learned is that people not only love to play pickleball, but they love to watch it. It was fascinating as we toured around, going from space to space at the park, how many onlookers there were cheering for the teams that were playing. So this one is 2-day. Last year we paced ourselves and opened it up for 1 day, Saturday only. It was so popular we were able to extend it to Sunday, and this year we just went for it and said we're going 2 days. So lots of fun to be had for sure.
And in terms of the summer bazaar, all those vendors did really well. Having a cooling area, again, next to the kids zone and some of the art that was inside really drew folks in. They really did a great job of selling. We had food vendors on that side as well by the community center in Cedar River. We had an outdoor play facility for toddlers. And so we really tried to make sure that was all. So you didn't have to go all the way back to the other side. We plan on bringing out all our vendors again. And then this year, I will say thank you to the team. We did apply and receive $10,000 in LTAC funding, and in partnership with CED, they received $25,000 for entertainment and some other efforts. And so we'll be partnering with them on entertainment and performances for this year's event.
I want to just give a quick shout out to that team that hosts that the summer bazaar. So, it's the application process, it's the jury process, it's all of the feels that you have of everything you need for a show like that. And 90% of the artists that are in the show are Renton residents. That's a little bit different than what we host in the winter for our holiday bazaar. So that's really great. And we're on track right now to have the 70 returning vendors that were there last year return with their applications already filled out. So.
Moving on, another fantastic event that everybody loves in the summertime is the farmers market. We want to thank Carrie Olson for her adaptability and her patience that I'm sure sometimes is tested at this moment. But we are moving the location. This is temporary, but we hope it's successful. We're still going through the logistics and permitting process and some other coordination just to ensure that that's going to be a safe location. We pay attention to what happens nationally, and again on that theme of safety, we want to make sure we have the proper street barriers and closures. But this year, the community can look forward to this. We'll just be about a block or so over to be on 2nd and Williams. We thank the businesses. We hope those businesses will see value in this and that they can get benefit and leverage. There will be some logistical challenges. There are concerns about parking. We really do want to navigate that carefully and respectfully, but it's 18 days. And we're fingers crossed it will go well, but this is the first time it's moved to this location. During COVID, we had done it in the gravel lot, the farmer's market, but this is the first time we've moved it to where it's this street.
Clarifying question.
Rebecca?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Council President Perez. This is going to be fun. So this is going to be like it was yesterday at the Dragon Celebration, where we're just going to shut down Williams between 2nd and 3rd. I love that.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be awesome.
I think it's going to be quite the vibe for, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It is. And so it's hopeful. But again, we're really trying to be respectful of the businesses. This is 18 days. And so we're trying to be cautious, and we know which ones are concerns. So we may have to put in some more traffic mitigation to make sure the flow and those businesses aren't negatively impacted.
I was going to follow up is how much negative or kind of concern feedback have you gotten from the couple hours for 1 day a week for 18 weeks?
It's the logistics on the parking. I think the yoga studio has some genuine concerns.
Okay.
So we want to make sure that we aren't impacting their classes. The purpose of doing these things are not to have consequential negative impact. It's to hopefully benefit and leverage it for them as well as us. And so we're prepared and we're working through this with all of the businesses.
I appreciate that because I know that yoga studio, and that's their only entry in and out of that parking is on Williams. All right, thank you.
As well as everything, I think, is communication. So I think that because we are changing the location this year, it's just about communication. Again, it's traditions, it's what people are used to, so changes sometimes are difficult or hard. During the pandemic, it was easier because people understood that we could not keep committing to the same things because of the social distance. But in this case, I do believe that just letting people know in advance, we are going to do it this way because of these reasons, but we are welcoming the same number, I don't know if are the same number or not, of vendors, safety, you can park here, be very, I do believe that by being very transparent and very welcoming, I think it's going to be a success. It's just about communicating to the residents what is the expectation, so it's not a surprise. And again, I told you, sometimes some of us, change is inconvenient just because it's change. So in this time, I think as much communication that we can have with the residents and our regulars, in less than 2 weeks, we will get used to the new market.
Excellent point. Thank you, council members. And honestly, we're also looking at strategizing with our communications team on all the efforts and ways. We've even discussed putting in some signage inside the pavilion, redirecting people in case someone actually walks there and says, is it still this day? Is it here? So you're right. Signage and just a mass spreading of the word is going to be really important. So
Our facilities team is actually hanging banners from the parking garage with an arrow pointing down. The building actually on the corner, formerly the old former Cheers building, actually Dave is working with Carrie on an agreement for us to be able to utilize the restrooms inside there as well as window space, letting people know that it's that's where the farmers market will be. And Carrie's done an excellent job with the businesses, making parking passes for their customers, mostly the yoga studio. And then we're actually hiring additional staff to help us with the parking needs for that ingress egress for that yoga studio and 2 other businesses on site.
Why you guys believe that we're going to have parking issues if we have our magnificent park building there? Do you think that people will not want to park there because they don't want to walk all the way to Second, or because in the past has been an issue, obviously always have been an issue, the downtown parking, but not specifically with the market. With the market, I think because of the accessibility of the parking there, do you think that will create more issues?
I don't believe so.
Okay, thank you
don't.
very much. Thank you.
I'm optimistic.
moving on. So our golf course, it is amazing. It is open year round with year round tournaments. It is always amazing how much play is occurring, even when it is raining and freezing cold. We did just want to share that our driving range is now open again. We finally have beautiful turf on there now after, I'm sure, decades old of not turf. And it now actually complements the beautiful greens that are maintained by that location. I again want to continue to say the leadership under Steve Myers there is fantastic. He's really trying to continue to expand access to youth and grow the sport. They're really trying to make sure the community has access by way of these programs, which is our PGA Junior League, as well as the Introduction to Golf program. Moving on, we also have another amount. Jen, what was the number you said about activities?
30 new ones, or?
It was like 40 something outdoors. Sorry, we're ad-libbing here, but we have about 40 plus activities offered outdoors for the community. We try to do a combination of registered events, niche type of experience, the festival, but these are really ones where community gets to come out and really enjoy. The summer concerts are fantastic. They're hugely still popular to this very day. We are bringing back, in terms of the neighborhood program, what was traditionally true neighborhood picnics in terms of the time that they're offered and their location. This will be fantastic because we really look forward to council participating and helping grill again, potentially, Councilmember Prince. He was one of those original grillers and serving and just connecting again. We're excited to kind of transition in this way, but we're still honoring the neighborhoods, creating their own experiences within the neighborhood and supporting by way of that and creating other little things with them. But this is bringing back what was our neighborhood picnics years ago. So we hope to see you there. Thank you for always attending in the past. And the Cascade neighborhood is extremely excited. They just announced their own Facebook page and they're very eager and touting their, we are now a recognized neighborhood. They basically renewed their vows with us, so we were very happy to see them join again.
Madam President.
Yeah, Councilmember Prince.
So, quick question. I'm looking at that because you brought up Cascade, and they have been reactivated. So, September 24th from 3 to 6. And I'm assuming this is going to be at Cascade Park. Is that okay? Do we have any concerns about people not being able to make it because of the start time?
Potentially, but we try to look back at the way the old knitted picnics used to be, and they were always at that dinner time. And so we were trying to bring those hours back. We can certainly adjust, sir, if it comes back to us that again, we need to adjust on a later time. But looking at the way the other ones were, we were just trying to emulate that.
Typically, we went from 5 to 7.
I think what was happening in the discussions when Remy was planning them with the neighborhoods is that they were trying to get those students that are just getting released from school. I think that we have some ideas on how to entertain them instead of them having to go home and maybe not coming back or having them meet their families at the location. I think that was the, from the neighborhood themselves, that was their recommendation.
Yeah, I'm good with that as long as it works. I think we'll see what happens this year, and then if it doesn't work,
Agreed.
we reevaluate.
Yeah, we will be flexible. We plan these. Everything we do is with residents, with organizations. We don't do these without talking to the neighborhoods. It would be rather arrogant and rude of us to just insert ourselves. But to your point, we're trying to throw back, but giving some latitude. But I think you're right.
I'm just thinking because this one's after school starts,
Yes.
and so how kids, especially the elementary school kids, get there is going to be a little more difficult. So,
We'll be flexible, sir. I mean, if it's successful and it's great, we won. We did great, but if it's needing to be moved later, we certainly can do that.
Councilmember Rivera.
I just want to say I think it's an excellent idea to move it to something that's a little bit closer to start time because you can just walk from Cascade, right, down to the Cascade Park. There's that lovely trail. I think if that's what the neighborhood is offering, sounds like a great idea because it kind of, I was also questioning it when Council Member Prince brought it up, but then when your explanation was actually makes quite a bit of sense. And so I'm looking forward to seeing maybe how that difference compares to how it's been previously done. And so we can learn from it or keep doing it or what have you. And I also just wanted to offer, I'm also a grown master in my own right, and I'd be happy to offer my gifts to you.
Absolutely.
I think I'm just worried about, I know about Cascade, but there's 2 other schools in that area, and 4 if you count Benson Hill, which is all the way across Petrovisky. So,
Pay attention. Moving on. So this is our Let's Go guide. This is our large publication. What this is it's not a magazine. It's nothing more than just a call to action. We want folks to register. We respect the database. 66% of the programs we're offering right now are registered by Renton residents. We're really proud to say that our residents use our buildings, use our parks. These are their parks, these are their tax dollars, and so we're really grateful to that. This guide is about to be issued. It'll be May through August. Registration is April 23rd. We typically overwhelm our system, our credit card system, and our web-based system because there is such a rush to register for these programs. I'll let Jen talk about these, but these were new programs. Again, everything we do is with feedback from community members and in response to their interests, in response to their feedback, as well as requests for, can you bring this?
So yeah, this is probably maybe one of my favorite projects. I have a few things that I get to work on, but this actually, to MJ's point, is a call to action. These are the people that are repeat customers that are coming back to us, and we're building those relationships. They're telling us what they like, telling us what what they don't like, and we're trying to figure out the in between. So there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that goes into this. It's about 6 weeks for each of the issues that we produce, 3 a year. It feels like it's never ending. So there's a lot of grind. These are our employees, our staff are working on this before the programs that are in the previous guide have even started. This year we have 30 new programs for summer. Doesn't sound like a big deal, but that's a lot when you think about what they're doing in year round, and that's vetting out, whether it's an employee, whether it's a contracted service, all the feels that you get, hopefully you're finding it right inside this book. The programs that we do have, there's a few that just like really speak to me and make me excited. We have a little specialty camp that this year, and it's little medical school. And it I'm sorry, but it's just so cute. It's teaching it's teaching individuals about veterinary, about pediatrics, about medical. It's also teaching STEM. So there's 7 different weeks with 4 different age bases. That's pretty incredible. Summer goes by in a blink of an eye, and we've pretty much mapped it out to hopefully give everybody something that they need. Many of the people that are registering for our day camp, they're looking for, if you will, a safe place that's going to nurture and take care of their favorite people, right? Their pride and joy, their children. And we have 7 weeks, 3 different age groups, all in the same location, where in years past, if you had a younger and a older, you were going to 2 different locations. We finally worked it out to where everybody's in the same place, same space, and we're feeling pretty good about that. So 7 weeks of continuous, if you will, look at it this way, care. It's a custodial care program. We're pretty darn good at it. So kudos to the staff that work so hard on onboarding all those young recreation professionals to help them. But through this guide, we have intergenerational programming. That's something that is becoming very popular at the Senior Center on Wednesday nights. You'll see all age groups there now, starting at age 12. We have 3 different classes that are being offered. I don't know if anybody remembers, but we started with Learn to Hula or Learn to Belly Dance, and they sold out. And that's what we're learning. It's really bringing a unique group of people together. Some of the other things is a cornhole league. Who would have thought, right? So our adult sports league has grown. Now cornhole is a real thing. So I don't know how many of you like to toss a beanbag, but we got one with your name on it.
I'm getting really excited.
Yeah. So new this year is, you're familiar with our youth council. We've really had some phenomenal experiences last year. Our youth council planned the first ever teen night at the pool. We had 400 teens registered. Do you know how hard it is to get teens to register for anything? Yeah, it's nearly impossible. We had 400. It was by far one of our most successful programs. As staff, we stood back in awe of the details as well as the success that happened, letting these individuals come together, tell us what they want, how they saw it to happen, and have it turn out exactly as they planned. It was phenomenal. They're doing it again this year. But what we're offering starting in May is called a Parks and Recreation internship. Very exciting. We'll touch on a few other things as MJ and I go along, but it has to do with our pros plan. But what we're really doing is giving the youth an opportunity to have, I want to say that it's a 6 or 7 week session. Forgive me, I'll get you the exact details. And they get to meet with all the Parks and Recreation professionals, whether it's our CIP, our planning, our urban forestry, and visit all of the, not all, most of the locations, and they're going to come back and they're going to present to our park commission what their findings are, what they enjoy about our parks, what they think that they'd like to see in our parks, how our amenities are working out, or the ideas that these young folks have that we might not be thinking of or seeing through their lens. So it's great. It also falls into an opportunity should there be positions still available, but we're hiring now to onboard about 200 park or recreation staff, and they can actually go through this and see, hey, I want to invest myself and, take a shot at applying for a job. So that's new. I commend the team working on it. It's very exciting. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to work myself into being a part of it, just because it's a great opportunity. So super excited.
We'll also be plugging that they have opportunities to serve on our boards and committees because there's typically an opportunity for youth. So we want to empower them, but we learned a lot. They scared us last year. That many teenagers in one location. I'm not sure. It's overwhelming and you're just instantly not cool. But they blew us away. We underestimated their ability to plan, coordinate, and so we realized we needed to create space for them to continue to be empowered.
Their last one was their teen bingo night, and registration started very slow. It was held at a time where the weather was a little bit undesirable, so we postponed it. And if you looked at the numbers, they signed up late, and they had about 40 individuals, 40 teens that participated in teen bingo night. So it was amazing.
Moving on to adults and seniors, again, thank you, Councilman, for your continued support for our Don Person Senior Activity Center. It truly lives up to the legacy of Don Person, we believe. It is a regional draw, asset, and value to the community. It serves, again, the region, and I'm completely proud. These are also new programs. I will say the urban walks, this was requested, so there'll be many of them out and about in our downtown, on our trails. We're extremely excited. We have a full spectrum of seniors, from the very young to older old. A lot of them are interested in so many different things. One is, what can they do to help with the environment? So there's an eco-friendly classes in terms of gardening. People are really interested in environmental stewardship. Dancing will never go away. It is the bloodline to just having a good time and thriving. We have brought those back. They're wonderfully successful. Health and nutrition, so many really care about quality of life right now. And really, there's so much out there on social media that they're looking for one-on-one conversations when it comes to health, so they don't feel like they're so confused. It is overwhelming. Technology, sometimes we lean on each other and don't want to admit how much help we still need with technology, but we do. And the Senior Center offers lots of classes and programs, and so people don't feel left behind and aren't afraid to ask the questions that are necessary. I wish there was a class on Find My Glasses. I had that moment today. Trey thankfully helped find it for me, but that should be in there somewhere. But again, the last one we're going to touch on is the themed enriched lunches. Thank you, Councilmember Perez. You spoke at one of those. These are wildly successful. They sell out. I will give a compliment to Sonia and the Senior Center staff, Donna and Sean Claggett. These are thriving. These seniors love it. It's social, it's educational. They feel like they're having their own kind of TED Talk type of experience. It's cultural. It's very authentic, very genuine, and we really commend them because they're the ones really leading that interest and those conversations. We'll continue to make sure council is aware of those. These are great if you have a chance just to come by and watch and witness. Moving on to our beloved pools. So this summer, this again is a big one. This is where the bulk of those 250 employees will go. A lot of them go to those summer programs and classes, but without a doubt, to turn on this operation, it is a big machine. I will say this summer you'll see some improvements. Thankfully, we were successful in obtaining a grant, so we're currently doing some improvements to the aquatic center. It desperately needed. All these activities will be offered. The schedule will be available and posted in advance. But do you want to talk about the enhancements?
So yeah, in 2023, we were awarded from the King County Parks Levy Program just over $900,000 for much needed repairs. The pool, she's 20 years old and gets a lot of wear and tear. She's out there all alone all winter long. So, but what you're going to see with that is the tiles, the flooring. There's things that people won't notice and say, oh, I know you did a lot, but what else? What else? So there's internal things too, just to have a better customer focus, whether it's the windows when you're checking in. I don't know if any of you have checked into the window, but you might talk like this underneath it. So some of those things are happening, but the biggest thing that people will notice is that we will be receiving a new water feature in the zero depth area. It's where probably 50% of our users are able to go. So if you think about the pool, it's an aquatic center. It's very action packed, right? But you can't always do everything, right? Your height, it might prevent you from doing that. So we really wanted the users to see a huge impact. We had the original one, it ran to its end of life, and the one that we replaced it with is there too. It was quite a bit smaller when we replaced the original play structure. So we're very excited. We're going to go back to something that people will recognize. Maybe not, they might have aged out, but you'll be able to see the difference. And we're super excited for our residents to get to have that experience again.
The height restriction is for the slide and the wave pool. So really a lot of people with children, especially below that height, this is where they spend all of their time. So your residents will enjoy this. I will say we're about 50% of those who attend the pool are from Renton, but this is a regional draw. The other 50% are not from Renton, but this is heavily loved and beloved throughout the summer. Lastly, Council, we're just going to end with this one before we answer more questions. July is National Parks and Rec Month. We don't do this to make Martin jealous because Public Works only gets 1 week. It's because this is our industry. We're busy and we love it. This is 100-plus-year-old industry, Parks and Recreation. We really do build together and play together. We work hard, play hard. So we will be celebrating Parks and Recreation Month in July. You'll see us back again for that. And then our pros plan. We've learned a lot from our pros plan updates in the past where sometimes it may have misled or misinformed the community on what they were providing input on. This time we're doing a really big concerted effort to make sure that what they give input on is very clear to them, that some things are concept plans, but we're also taking a lot of feedback on where we could glow up. We talked to council at the retreat, where can we make immediate change and improvement based on this kind of feedback? We really respect our relationship with our residents and community. These are their parks, these are their tax dollars, and we really want to make sure that's reflective in this plan. We also want to make sure this plan has all shovel-ready projects so that we can pursue more grants, as well as talk to council about a further funding options and what can we do to accomplish more with what we have. But you'll see us very, very active promoting the pros plan at nearly everything we're doing this summer and every event. We want it really consumable and accessible. And as we start hosting any standalone, we'll certainly let council know, just to let us know if we're reaching the right audience or if there's anyone else we can extend it to.
MJ, thank you. Sorry, do you want to say something else?
No.
Okay. I was going to talk about the Renton Parks Recreation Open Space Plan for 2026 and stay in touch. A couple of residents have struggled with our new website so I'm very worried about that because one of the things, especially for parks and recreation, that we want and we're eager to hear is the feedback of our community. We need to know exactly what they want, how they want it, what are we lacking, the improvements, you name it, right? I have always said that when I ask for how many comments we have, people say, well, 50. Of a city of more than 100,000, that is very concerning. So if we don't make it as easier for them to go and give us feedback, if I were a regular resident, I would not go and struggle. So I want to make sure that I don't know what is the role of each department on improving the website for accessibility, on how big is your voice there in that case. But based on the complaints that I have received, I have serious concern that the website format, the new website format, maybe is not as friendly as we were expecting. And since we have not had any presentation about the current website as council members, I don't know the answers on most of these. But knowing all the work, guys, that you're putting behind, I will feel terrible that for not having a better format of engaging with our community, we don't receive the feedback that is needed, especially when you guys have worked so hard to put all these programs together for our community to enjoy.
Thank you. We'll certainly work with communications on doing that. But what we're also going to do is we're going to use postcards. We're going to use QR codes. We're going to have the visibility everywhere. So we will not miss an opportunity if we have a captive audience to give them a chance to give us feedback right then and there. So if you're in our parks, if you're in our buildings, if you're in a line, if you're watching a concert, we'll do our best with that hands-on approach. It will be, as consumable as possible, but we will certainly work hard and try to make sure that the website dynamic is as easy as possible.
Thank you. Any more questions, council members?
Council President Perez, I just want to say I'm really excited about the internship opportunity. You said it was going to be a 7-week internship about?
Yeah. I don't have the exact, but yes.
Yeah, and I was just curious, are you working to do outreach with the local high schools on that endeavor?
We will be. A lot of these will be our youth council that are, in there. But yes, actually, I just met with Hazen High School and Nelson, which there's a little bit of an age difference, but we are. We'll start spreading the word to that as soon as registration opens.
We're happy to also get that to council. If you have youth members that you think are interested or would be, we'd be more than happy to give you that registration information. Again, we'd love to. So we're on our last slide. This is questions, but this is staff. Again, we're a department of 85. We're the only ones that transform, I should say, and we grow almost 3 times our normal size. So to onboard that many new people to extend the customer service and standards that we expect as a department on behalf of the city is a big lift, but we're proud. We are a huge part of workforce development. In so many ways, we are so many people's first job. Not a lot of choices sometimes for teenagers, and we're their first job. Sometimes these are employees' children, these are residents, these are former participants who've come back to work for us. These are people who've moved away and are home for the summer, that they choose Renton. And we are always incredibly appreciative and grateful for not only the part-time employees, but the amount of volunteers we have and host within this department. I know many of you will be at our volunteer banquet tomorrow, so thank you. But thank you for your patience and support of our department, and we're happy to answer any other questions.
We have, during our onboarding, this is just a quick little warm fuzzy story. We hired an individual who is going to be working at the aquatic center this year. And he came back, he's been out of state for school, longtime family Renton resident, and he had his 5th birthday at the HMAC. And he said, "Oh, I remember I had my 5th birthday here." And I'm like, "Oh yeah?" And he's like, "Yeah." He goes, "Wow." He goes, "It seems so much bigger then." So, but that's a testament to what we are able to give our residents and how we treat the ones that want to spend their days with us. So,
Any more questions?
Just a general thank you.
I really want to thank both of you. I mean, normally as consumers, we don't have that much contact with the staff, but I have to tell you that during the winter, during Christmas time, I had the experience to have a lot of your staff members surrounding me. I was so impressed by them. I was so impressed of the energy that your department is bringing. This seems to be a very, very intense, beautiful, and amazing summer. I hope that it is. And once again, thank you for everything. This meeting is adjourned.